The bids are in. The gavel is dropped. Ladies and gentlemen, here at WineBid, we are finally hammered. That's right. This is WineBid's podcast dedicated to all things wine value, wine retail, wine auctions, and just wine. My name is Jeff Gurn. I'm on the WineBid marketing team. With me, as always, is Paul, the exemplar of Echezot, Walker, our wine expert.
I like that one. That's great. Keep that. Let's keep that one.
Keep that exemplar.
I would love to be the permanent exemplar of Echezot, just so it was just given to me, because of the title or something.
Well, I feel like you earned it.
Okay, well, great.
I don't know how.
I don't either.
I don't know how.
I don't either.
I feel like it had to do with drinking a lot of Echezot. But
not enough. I can tell you from personal experience and non-expertise, even though you like to call me an expert.
So this week's podcast episode is dedicated to a lot of the amazing wines from France that are coming to auction this week, taking a look at some of our picks. So this week is the auction ending on Sunday, May 5th, 7 p.m. Pacific time. So everything we're talking about here, you're going to be able to go, if you listen to this before Sunday, May 5th, 2024, 7 p.m. Pacific time, you're going to be able to go and bid on all of these items. Okay.
Right. They're all available for bid at the moment.
Now, and by the way, just because you didn't hear something that you like doesn't mean it's not an auction. There's a lot of stuff, there's just too much stuff for us to mention everything. And this is really important. Stuff comes into auction after we do the podcast sometimes. And in fact,
most of the wine is generally scheduled to start at 7:15 on Sunday, every Sunday. However, lots of things are added on Monday. And sometimes larger collections are even added after Monday. So as I was actually picking wines last evening, after the auction started, there were things being added as I was going through. So it's always a good idea to, check back, look at your favorites, even after the email goes out sometimes I think it goes out on Tuesday. There are, often wines added after Monday. So
100%. Now, the last time we did France, we started off in Burgundy. So I'm starting off in Bordeaux this time. Sorry, Paul.
Shocking.
That's where we're beginning.
Okay. Let me see if I can pick what you're going to start with. It is the 49 Decan.
Nope.
Okay.
Way down on my list. All right. Here's what I'm starting with. Okay. Because you know me, I'm all about the savings. I'm all about good deals. Right.
Yes, of course.
And you can ridicule me as much as you want, but I think it's really cool that we see the 15 Lafite in auction for $575. I don't think $575 is a bad deal for Lafite. We've got the 89 Latour actually, it's got a bid on it already. It was at $435. Now it's up to $455, right? And the 15 Latour for $540. Look, is this cheap? No, but sometimes I think you can get some good deals for vintages that aren't considered to be like these epic marquee vintages.
Right.
And I don't think that wine's going to be bad. I don't think you're going to spit out a glass of, 89 Latour or 15 Lafite. And those are quite a bit cheaper than if you were to go and try and grab something that was like an 82 Latour, right?
Sure.
2,000 costs de Esternel for $200.
Yeah. It's funny. Was it 200?
200.
Yeah, I saw that too. I think that's got to be great. I haven't tried the 2000, I think, since release, but I think for a vintage now, that's drinking 25 years old, almost 25 years old, that's not expensive for, great vintage costs d'Esternel. I mean, I think some of the 89, 90, 82 is obviously quite a bit more, but that's a fair deal, $200. I
think it is a fair deal. I think we go up to like 235 and
sure.
Back down again a little bit, soften a little bit. But that's a great wine, $200, not cheap, but when you look at the quality of that wine, I think that's a pretty good deal. 2012 Cheval-Blanc for $475. That didn't strike me as a bad price for
no. I mean, it's a lighter vintage, but still it's probably amazing. And I think you could still hold on to it for a while, but it's considering Cheval Blanc, that's not terribly expensive.
It's not crazy. Another one that I thought was really interesting is we have 11 bottles, half bottles rather, of the 05 Pontet-Canet for $85 a piece, right? 05, great vintage. I'm sure these half bottles are drinking fantastically. We've got 11 of them. You want to try like an 05 Pontet-Canet? $85. I don't think that's terribly insane.
No.
And then on the flip side, you've got the '09 Mag or Pontet-Canet. We have two of them. One of them has a bid on it at 410. That didn't strike me as crazy either. Actually, my story, I feel like I felt like as I was going through the auction, my theme for the day was like '09s, which I don't know why. I feel like '05 gets a lot of attention, 10 gets a lot of attention.
Yeah.
There's some great wine in '09.
No, it's true. I think they're riper, more fruit forward, but I also think they have the strength to last. I think the 10s were a little bit more sort of overall, heavily structured and serious for real long-term aging. But the '09s, they're delicious wines, really, really good. So
they're drinking great.
Yeah, no, they're excellent. It's a good pick.
I mean, look, of course, I'm going to mention the 49 Decam for a paltry $1,800, but I'll also mention back to '09 Ducru-Beaucaillou for $365. I'll bet you that's drinking great. Leoville-Barton.
What vintage Ducru?
'09. I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, I went forward in time. I went back in time, and then I went back forward in time.
As you do.
So we're back in '09. '09 Leoville-Barton for $130, and then you compare that to the 2010 Leoville-Barton for $160. I don't know. I $30 savings. I might go with the '09.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 10 will ultimately probably be, longer term wine. Maybe, I don't know, maybe down the road might end up being a superior wine, but who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
Buy them both and try them side by side in 5 years or something.
And then, and let us know. '09 Leoville-Poyferre for $195.
Yeah, see, I think a lot of these wines got big scores, and hence the sort of inflated pricing in that vintage. I know Parker was handing out hundreds in '09 like candy. So.
Like they were going out of style. Like the '09 Clean's at $210, and you can pick up other vintage of Clean A for like $100, right? Or even south of that.
Yeah. I mean, I think the 19 was like 75 or something.
Yeah, it was like 75 when it came out. '09 L'Evangile for $290. '09 Bouchazor for $230.
As opposed to the Dufault?
Yeah, the Dufault.
Yeah, I think that's the other vintage from them that got 100 points besides the 1990. And obviously the 1990 is a lot more expensive, but
if you want 100-point Bouchazor Dufault, like 230 is not bad. '09 Clos Forte for $175. And the '09 Vieux Chateau Mazerat for $75. I didn't think that was crazy. And then exiting '09, '89 Pichon Baron has two bids on it, taking from $250 to $270.
Yeah, it's going up, which is interesting because it's been such an incredible wine for years. It's been drinking so well. I think it's becoming more and more collectible, and it's pushing up the price.
The bottle looks like it's in pretty good condition to me. I'm really curious because we saw this wine, interestingly enough, the last it sold was in March, at the end of March for $305. Before that, it had been hovering. It had actually gone down a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's been under 3 consistently, hasn't it?
For a long time. And earlier in March, we had 2 bottles sell early in March for $235. But really, it's been right around that 250-ish mark, right? Kind of going between 235, 265, and kind of going back and forth. I think late March was the first time we saw it jump above 300, right? We've got 2010 Pape Clement for $165. We've got 8 of those. I thought that actually probably is going to be pretty good. I'll bet you lay that down for a little while longer.
No, sure.
05 Obalie for $130.
Yeah, I saw there was a couple different vintages of Opaille in this week, and wine's never inexpensive, but I thought the 2000 actually wasn't a bad deal at 95.
No, that's not a bad deal.
That's got to be drinking great, but it's interesting that the 05 is, $40 more or something. I think it's probably got to be scores. It's got to be scores.
It's got to be score. Well, $35 more, but I'm sure it's scores. But 05 also, just a fantastic vintage. I thought one thing that was cool was the 61 Riesec. 275. I didn't.
Not the best Sauternes vintage ever. I mean, it's not like the red wines, but they are still very collectible, and I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's very good. I picked the 59 Cigalas Roubaud because I was like, that's a superior Sauternes vintage.
Well, of course you did. I'm looking for value. Okay, you just pick the most expensive things in auction.
Well, Cigalas Roubaud is undervalued Sauternes at auction. I think it always goes for less than it's worth. But and the 59 is at 225. I mean,
that's not bad. That's actually
no.
not bad.
And at 59, red Bordeaux, forget it. It's like 400, 500, 600 and up. I mean, it's going to even, second, third, fourth gross are going to be very expensive.
Yeah, no. And that's a phenomenal vintage for Sauternes. And then,
yeah, it's amazing.
The last one I'll mention is this 2010 Château Canon for 105. I didn't think that was crazy either. Great vintage. What did I miss in Bordeaux?
No, I mean, there's a great selection of 09s, like you said. I just picked a few things. 09 and 2010 Fétis Cliné. We don't see a lot of this wine.
Oh yeah, I think
it kind of flies under the radar. It's low production, has bids, so obviously it's got fans. The 09 was at 76 and the 10 was at 86. You mentioned the Haut-Baillies as well. I thought those were, I kind of want to drink more of that wine. I just want to learn more about it because I don't know enough and I don't have much experience, but I'm always sort of checking these when they come into the auction. There are a couple of second labels that caught a third label I discovered. The Saint-Estèphe de Montrose, I didn't know this, but it actually is the third label of Chateau Montrose. And it was incorrectly scored. I actually pulled the scores off because I saw the scores. I was like, what? Those are great scores for a third label. But anyway, I fixed that. So apologies if anyone saw those as well. But $40 for the 15 Saint-Estèphe de Montrose. And then Gravet de Sartane, I think that's Via Chateau Sartane's second label.
Yeah.
15's got a bid actually at 56. And then there's a 12 VCC. Speaking of Via Chateau Sartane, and for 160 that I also picked. So yeah, those are my picks for Bordeaux.
Let's go over to Burgundy. Okay.
Yeah.
98 Comte de Vosges, Moussigny, Villevine for 650. I thought that looked interesting. There's a bunch of Dujac this week.
There is. Yeah. We've seen quite a bit of it in the last couple of weeks.
Quite a bit of Dujac coming up. I was looking at this 2012 Chambois Moussigny Le Gruncher. I don't know. I'm sure you'll.
Close. Grand Cher. Yeah, Grand Cher. That's
310 didn't strike me as too crazy. And then I saw 15 Manger Muneret Echezeaux Le Grand Complication.
Yeah, this wine, I don't know this label. It's weird. And I wonder if it's because it's a new vintage or
it's got two bids, right? There are two.
It's not new. Okay, yeah, it's 15. It's got two bids. There's a couple bottles though. There's not just one.
Yeah. There's two bottles. This is something that I wanted to ask you about this because I was like, this looks interesting. There's not a lot
Grande Complication. Yeah, interesting stuff for sure. 15. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously 15, great year in the Côte de Nuit. 09, Faveli, Gevry, Chambertin, Les Casetières for 150. And we've got the 2010 for 130. 2020, Ravenel, Chablis, Buteau for 450.
Yeah, I saw that.
But there's some other bottles of Ravenel in auction as well. Good stuff.
Yeah.
19 Complafon Merceau Claude Labarre for 210. We got this Domaine Fourier, Gevry Chambertin Villevine for 170. 2012 Robert Chavillon Nuit Saint Georges Les Roncières. Two of those for 120. 15 Francois Lamarche Von Romani Lacroix Rameau for 140 now. It's got a bid.
Yeah, we've talked about the Grand Rue in the last episode, but yeah, I noticed that as well. I didn't actually pick it, but I did see that Francois Lamarche.
Here's one that I thought. Well, I'll say there's the 16 Caroline Moret Santenay Le Cheny, which has three bids taken from 35 to 39. There's two of those, but the one that really caught my attention and that I actually wanted to ask. See if you were familiar with this. The 2017 00 Wines Corton Charlemagne for $950. I did a little bit
That's the first one I saw in the auction because I was that's the first one I saw in the auction because I was looking at it through, alphabetically, and that's the first thing that popped up. It's a Northwest Pinot Noir and Chardonnay producer.
Yes.
But they also make Burgundy, and I think we've featured them before. The French, some of the other French wines from other vineyards. Again, it's like one of those things that I bookmarked. I was going to go research, like, oh, how are they doing this? Like, is this like an import or what's the deal? But that's a lot for Coton Chardonnay.
That's a lot. They're saying the fruit here was purchased from a family that owns a small parcel and was vinified by the same winemaker that helped start 00 and the premier wine consultant in Burgundy, Pierre Millemon. Pierre has an extensive list of qualifications working everywhere from René Renaud in Anjou to Charles Hudsick in Champagne, as well as Bordeaux. Earning his master's degree in enology in Dijon, Pierre is, as well as doing consulting, as a teacher at the University of Burgundy. That's what they say about it. So I thought, but I was like, $9.50 for Coton? Yeah. Whoa,
that's a lot. And it's interesting is we see the wines from Oregon quite a bit. They've been popping in, now and again. I think they range somewhere in like the 70 to 100 plus, depending on the label. But yeah, that's a serious price. For we talked about last episode, the record 11, at least for WineBid, was from Pierre Calamaré was 500 and something, and so yeah, this is that's a serious number. Yeah. It's like getting close to Costa Rica pricing.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if this goes for that. I looked and I believe when it was released, it was somewhere in the $300 to $500 range.
That would make more sense.
$300 to $400 range.
That would make more sense for sure. 17 is a great vintage, but yeah, we'll see if this sells. That's an interesting one.
Maybe you'll buy it. What else did you have on your radar in Burgundy, Paul?
Yeah, no, lots of very cool things. It's funny that I was trying to find, we talk about value and always try to find things that are interesting or, have some time on them from decent to even great producers that are not terribly expensive. And there are some more examples in this week of wines like that. There's a Beaune producer that just makes incredible red wines, Domaine Didier. There's a 13 Beaune Sans Vigne for, it's got a bid, it looks like for 41, which is excellent stuff. And then Beaune Greve, a more serious source as well. 2012 from Didier for 65. I thought those were really, really great deals, and the wine's fantastic. That Calamine Moret, I'm pretty sure it's going to get bid up beyond $40, but because that's where it was, I think, this morning. It's at 39 for the Santenay Le Chenier 2016, but that was another interesting value, at least for now. Speaking of Beaune Reds, there's some Albert Moreau wines from multiple different vintages, 91, 01, and 09 Beaune Turon. The 91's the most expensive at 80, and then the 01's at 56, and the 09's at 65. So again, some really tasty Beaune Reds that are not terribly expensive. Oh yeah, there's an 05 Beaune Toussaint for 46 as well. And then there's some Chablis that I thought was quite reasonable. Dompte Frère Chablis Les Fourneaux 2020 at 25. And again, I think it's hard to find Chablis, for under $30-$40. There's also, I think we've mentioned this producer quite a few times in the past, but there is, sorry, this is taking me forever to find because my list is so darn long. But it's, Louis Michel, Chablis Les Clos, 2010, $70. So for Les Clos,
okay, I was hoping
14 years of age.
Because I was like, Les Clos for $70?
Yeah, Les Clos, and then an 18 Valmore, another Grand Cru, Chablis as well for 55, a couple of bottles. And Louis Michel, very, very respected. Excuse me, the 18 is Louis Moreau, different producer, but still Grand Cru Vineyard Valmore at $55. Yeah. I thought those were great deals. So, and then Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of stuff. I don't need to go through a laundry list here, but there are some our low wines in this week, which we don't see very often, from '09 through looks like 17. So those caught my eye. There's some active bidding going on for a few of those. There's some Domaine de Courcelles-Pomards, which we don't see all that often as well. Some Bruno Clavelier wines, some Bachelet, again, sort of a inexpensive version, the Côte de Village 13 at 60, and then Gevrey Chambertin Vieilles Vignes 16 at 125. So a couple of different options from Bachelet, one of my favorite producers as well. Let's see. Yeah, you mentioned Dujac. There's quite a bit. There's some, kind of a whole range of Fourier wines as well. There's some Clos Saint-Jacques 15, which I caught my eye. Some Hubert Lamy Bourgogne Blanc, Le Châtaignier. Yeah, I think that's what it is. $41. So again, great vintage 2014, not expensive for Hubert Lamy. It's Bourgogne Blanc, of course, but it's a great way to try that, that producer for a relatively reasonable price. There's some Mayo Camazé, '09 Jante Pancio, Les Poissonneaux. That one caught my eye too. Don't see very much of it. Some '09 Henri Gouge, 15 Hubert Lignier, Maurice Saint-Denis Chaffaut, some Meunier wines, Claude Maréchal. In fact, there's a 3 liter of 13, which is very, very cool. Always, that would impress pretty much anybody into wine if you brought a 3 liter of Meunier to an event. 14 Jean Griveaux Clos Vougeot, a couple of those are in. Some younger Ramonet wines are in this week. Some Chassagne Ruchats and Cailleret. Let's see, I guess I ended up reading a laundry list of Burgundy. Sorry, but there's too many great things. I can't ignore them. I want to tell everybody. Boyo half bottles of Pouilly Montrachet from 2010, $25. I thought, here's yet another example. Great vintage half bottles, not expensive, 14 years old, not the top tier producer, but still, that's probably delicious wine. And there's 8 of them too, so they probably won't get bid up crazily. Santenay from Jean-Marc Pillot, '09, $20 for a half bottle. I thought, hey, great vintage red. I mean, Santenay, it's not terrifically complex, but still. Some Duran Clos de Mouche and the white and the red. Roti Charms 07. Oh, and then Lamy Cayat wine snuck in this week.
Oh, I didn't see those. There's Lamy Cayat?
Yeah, 17 Lamy Cayat. Chassagne La Romane, Le Cailleret, if you have to ask the pricing. You know the answer. 16 Ponceau Corton Charlemagne Cuvée de Calimeris. I had not ever seen this wine before. It's got like the Terminator 2 label on it. It's like, you should check it out. It's like totally crazy 80s, like sci-fi label. It's got some bids. So my money's on the Ponceau Corton Charlemagne versus the 00, but hey, who knows? And there's been some great Jadot Grand Cru in recently, and there's another great batch in this week. Clos de Bez, Chambertin. There's the Bonne Ursouls, which is amazing. That wine lasts for years and years and years, and it gets very, very like complex and interesting after 10, 20, 30 years. Anyway, there's a 2010 in for 75. Also Corton Charlemagne from Jadot. Also Le Musigny from Jadot, which frankly I think for the money is probably one of the better wines out there available right now. Clos de la Roche from Louis Remy 01 I thought was interesting. Don't know the wine at all, but it's an interesting example. Some d'Angeville Volnay, Patrick Pierre Chablis as well. And yeah, I'll just stop there. I mean, there's just too many things to list. So.
Yeah, cool, you're behind. Okay. Let's travel around the rest of France, right?
Sure.
Let's go to Champagne. I know you love a good glass of sparkling wine.
Yes, and one of my favorites is in this week, the Clos de Gouas Rosé, which is not often found. So that I'm sure somebody will grab that.
The 05, right? The for 215.
Juste Rosé, yeah.
Yeah, Juste 05, Faubourg Clos de Gouas Juste Rosé.
Yep.
I have that on my picks as well. The also thought was interesting, the 17 Cedric Bouchard, Rosas de Jean, Blanc de Blanc.
I didn't see the 17, pretty sure. How much is it? How much is that now?
It's $62. Sorry,
not for long.
$160.
Now, is it the Val Vilaine? Is it the
La Bullerie?
That's probably great. But yeah, those are very expensive now.
95 Bollinger Grand Année Mag for 480. I thought that was pretty cool. I'll bet you that'd be super interesting. Multi-vintage or non-vintage Ulysses Colon Extra Brut Blanc de Noir, Les Malions.
Yeah, Les Maillons. Yeah. Uh-huh.
For 235. This multi-vintage, non-vintage Laurent Perrier Grand Silese iteration.
Oh yeah, the Iteration. Yeah, that looks awesome. I'd love to try this wine. I'm a big fan.
There's 6 of them.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of LP. That's probably fantastic.
Like a bunch, large format Christophe Baron, Brut Naturs from 16 and 17 and 18. Take your pick. But all around that 170 to 210 range, 150 to 210. And then this 2012
Leclerc Brillant, the Brut Zero.
Brut Zero.
Yeah.
I thought that one was pretty cool too.
So there's 4 sets of 3, right? There's 4 sets of 3 bottle lots. So
for like 360 a piece.
Yeah, for 360. Yeah, that's a great one. There's Grand Cuvée Krug. Always have to mention that 168.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, there's
169th edition. Well, you don't always get to find these after a while. They're no longer available elsewhere as they pop up on WineBid, and they're great deals. 02 and 08 Cristal I thought were awesome.
08 Cristal, 02 and 08 Cristal are amazing.
Yeah.
I had some 08 Cristal and some 02 Cristal not too long ago, and whew, delicioso.
Yeah, it's phenomenal wines. Don't bring out 08 also, I had to mention. I think it's still pretty fair. It's at 270, and that's fantastic.
I feel like that's going to just go up and up and up because like champagne was so good.
Yeah. 08 Clicquot Vintage 85. I thought that was a great deal.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And anyway, I wanted to mention those. Oh yeah, and there was a Caz Thibault Magnum. I thought that was kind of interesting. It has a bid. It's a $83 for Brut Naturellement, which sounds like naturally brut. So it sounds like a zero dosage wine to me. But anyway.
Let's go to Jura. Did you see this Michel Gaillet Chardonnay Arbois La Fouquet?
No, I did not.
I thought this stuff looked interesting to me. No bids. It's at $45. We got 15 people keeping their eye on that. That was the only thing we had coming.
Michel Gaillet. No, I don't know this producer at all. La Fouquet. Interesting.
Well, there are 15 people that do. That's a lot of trackers. We've got this in the Loire. Some Dagueneau coming into auction this week.
Yes, old ones.
Selects, 07 Poulet Fumé Persang and an 05 Selects. And I think there's some other ones too.
05, 07 Silex and 09 Silex as well. And then there's the sweet wine from Jurançon, the Gardens of Babylon. We don't get to see that too often. It's great dessert wine. It's also less than than the dry Sauvignon.
Right.
So, yeah. Cool selection of I hate to say it, but pre-passing of Didier, I should say, because I think he passed away in 11. I can't remember now. It's been a long time. Maybe 07. Anyway, there's Cuvée de Serran from Loire also. The Jolie, that stuff's great. 10 is at 90 and the 13 is at 135. Yeah,
I was going to mention the 2010 Cuvée de Serran at 90. I thought that one looked like it was really good.
Oh yeah, these wines are incredible. Last forever too.
Let's cap it off with a quick jaunt through the Rhone, shall we? 04 Domaine Didier Dagueneau, Château du Pape Cuvée Réservé for 85. 07's 80, Mag of the 10 for 220, and a Mag of the 11 for 110. I thought that looked interesting. 09 Mag, a Mag of 09 Domaine de la Jeunesse, Châteauneuf de Pape Villevine for 220.
Yeah, I picked that one too.
That one looked like super tasty. So I already got some action on the 16 Auguste Clap, Saint Péret, taking it from 55 to 56.
That's white, right?
I do believe so.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't think I've ever had this wine before, so that looks like it's got a bid too. And there's a couple lots of it.
Yeah, there are a couple lots of the Saint Péret, and
yes, Saint Péret white. That's pretty awesome. That's cool.
And price is not bad, especially for a clap, right? This '07 Roger Sabon Château Neuf de Pape Cuvée Prestige. I know '07. That's a tricky vintage, Jeff.
Well, you should try them. That's the thing.
I like '07. I like some '07.
All right.
Okay. Don't hate me.
Well, it's interesting to see because you mentioned Pego Reserve, right? And I think the '07 is the same price as what is to be considered a lighter, weaker vintage. Was I think you said the 11 is there's multiple vintages of Pego Reserve in this week, and it's interesting to see that the '07s at auction.
'07 for 80.
The '04 is more, right? The '04 is more.
It's $5 more. It's 85 for the '04.
But the '04 is not considered, or at least wasn't whenever Parker was rating these wines. Wasn't considered a superior vintage to '07. And so I don't know. I'd go for the '08. Who cares? Don't worry about the scores.
Don't worry about the scores. And then the only other one I really picked out from the Rhone was this '07 Paul Attard Château Neuf de Pape Cuvée Le Côte Ronde. 6 of those, $35 a piece. I think there's a bunch of actually really good Château Neuf de Pape for very reasonable prices in this week.
Yeah, it's true. The '09. It's funny you mentioned that '09 Otard because there was Clos Saint Jean. Was it 16 Chateauneuf for 35 in a couple of weeks ago, and I bought one. And I drank it, and it was fantastic. And so I picked the '09 Otard, the same kind of thinking. $35. There's 4 of them. It's probably drinking great. I mean, that's a great value in Chateauneuf for sure.
Tremendous value. A lot of age on it. Probably right in the drinking window right now. A lot of the stuff I was looking at notes, and they're like effusive about it. So I just thought there's some really good deals. What else did you have in the room that I?
Yeah, no, it's funny. We picked like a lot of the same things. The other one I thought that was a great deal that I actually tried probably, I don't know, 6 months ago was the '01 Vatican 16, the Reserve 16.
Oh yeah. Vatican makes some Cuvée Vatican makes some really good stuff.
Yeah. Now they just call it the 16. I think it's just got 16 across the label, but back then it was still the Cuvée de Vatican Chateauneuf. And
I have some of the old stuff.
It's great. It's great. I thought I tried, I want to say like the '99 or 2000, and it was like, it's tasted a little bit peaked out, but the '01 was fantastic. And the '03 was great too. So anyway, '01's in at 40. The Clap Saint-Péray Blanc, that looks very interesting. I wonder if it's like Roussan or Marsan or something. The Otard is a great deal. Jeunesse Mag looked great. Yeah. Also '09 Santa du Gigondas for $30, I thought was a nice example of something with a little time on it. And there's 15 Chat Hermitage. I'm not to mention that, but
yes,
that got to me too.
And with that, ladies,
Couillon Saint Joseph Blanc for $30, 2020, brand new. Or young release, I should say, of Saint Joseph Blanc.
Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that's been our auction picks for this week. Remember, all the stuff we mentioned today, you can go on WineBid right now if you're listening to this before Sunday, May 5th, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time in 2024. If you go to WineBid before that time, you can bid on any and all of this stuff, and it's all delicious, some stuff at all price points. There's going to be more stuff coming into auction this week. And as a little treat, we'll give you $15 off an order of $150 or more this week only if you use the code EXEMPLAR, because Paul is the exemplar of Echezot, so EXEMPLAR.
It's an aspirational title. It's something I hope to be one day.
Yes.
Exemplar of Echezot. Yes.
Exemplar of Echezot. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Jeff McGurn and Paul Walker wishing you happy bidding and cheers.
Cheers.